Hey, I'm a schizophrenic. Started when I was 22 and will last till I die. I'm active in schizophrenic communities, go to groups, the works, but I am fairly private about it to most people, to include friends. It's fairly common for people to think I'm eccentric, comes with a turf, due to some of my habits. Those habits include not going to parties or other places with lots of people, suddenly deciding not to do something I have to be protective not to do, or go to certain things if I think a delusion might be coming on, saying the occasional odd quip, normal schizophrenic stuff. Some friends thought it would be funny to make it seem like I might be going crazy as a group. They would individually wear something silly like a wizard hat or dinosaur costume, T-Rex blow-up costume, to a group event, or say something totally out of the ordinary and pretend like it was normal. Police like to track people like you, etc. These are very real scary thoughts to me. I would ask members of the group if they had heard concerns about these conspiracies or weird garb from the other members, but they all acted like they had hung out with that particular member that day and I hadn't been involved. I was really scared that this could have been a massive delusion morphing into a full psychosis, so I preemptively checked myself into a hospital to stop myself from potentially hurting myself or diving further into the rabbit hole common in schizophrenic community. I was so scared my medication stopped working. No one heard from me for a few days while I was in the hospital, and when I checked out I confided in one of them about what had happened. I got a really long apology explaining what had happened, and I blew up at them. I have ignored attempts from the others trying to apologize and have no desire to talk with them again. Am I the idiot for not previously stating that I am schizophrenic? Oh honey, this breaks my heart. My partner is schizophrenic and it's hard enough on its own without some group of idiots deciding it would be fun to collectively gaslight you. Please go with your gut and never talk to these idiots again. As far as whether not telling them ahead of time makes you an idiot, maybe in some alternate reality where schizophrenia stigma didn't exist. I'm proud of you for going to the hospital when you felt you needed to, that's a hard thing to do. I had something done like this to me in high school. We were reading 1985 as a class. I was absent from school one day, and as a lesson for the other students, my teacher got the class in on a prank to illustrate the power of suggestion. She had a bright blue podium, but when I came into class the next day, before it started, they all started talking about how she hated that it was painted gray and that she was going to get it painted back to blue. It went on for like 10 minutes. I was freaking the hell out and the teacher said something like, "Octopus, you okay?" And I mentioned that it looked blue to me. And it kept going, and finally I ended up agreeing that I guess it could have been gray. I thought I was crazy. They broke it to me and I almost cried. It wasn't fun. This is a prank. It's a good prank. Just not for OP. OP isn't the idiot. Friends aren't the idiot. No idiots here. OP has a right to privacy. I've had this type of prank done to me, and it was funny. Just a really unfortunate situation. I definitely give your friends the chance to make it right. The intent was never malicious. They just didn't know, and upon discovery, they immediately wanted to apologize. OP has the right to not respond for a while as mental illness is no joke. Time is a great healer. No idiots here, but lessons are learned. Update. I had a few folks message me over the last couple of months, the latest tonight. It touches me that so many of you still message me to see if things are going well, so I wanted to update people en masse. Life is going phenomenally. I axed a friend group and have since been kicking butt. I realized that if my close friend group was consistently putting me down or taking advantage of me, who else could be? The biggest answer was myself. I stopped doing things I enjoyed to invest in people that took joy in hurting me. Turns out it went so much deeper than gaslighting. I got 2 new hobbies, woodworking and brewing. I absolutely love them both and have made friends in those communities. I started cooking instead of takeout, and I met the woman who is now my girlfriend at the local market, and we do most things together now. I realized my job had been taking a huge advantage over me. I work significantly harder and longer hours for less pay than the employees under me. After I transitioned to taking better care of myself, I successfully created a resume that outlined my successes, recognizing those successes took quite a bit of effort. And got a new job in higher management for significantly more pay. I'm also going to buy a house this December with a yard for my dog and I. Nothing big, just a nice 1-bedroom with a large yard for my buddy and I to play fetch in. So thanks. Oh, you won. Never would have made life improvement if it weren't for an external force. This just might be my favorite update ever. You completely altered the trajectory of your life for the better. Way better, good for you. I wish you nothing but joy in the new life you have created for yourself. I think sometimes we all get stuck in a rut. Some of us flee from change, some grin and bear it. The best of us self-reflect during times of trouble, take the bull by the horns, and make changes to ourselves. Never easy, but always worth it. For the record, I'm a grin and bear it girl. I can self-reflect and know what bad habits I need to change, but don't have the confidence to do it. Maybe this is the kick in the butt I need to take control of my own destiny. Thank you for sharing. So, I, 34, have been married to John, 36, for about 12 years, and I have never seen him flip out about this like something before. We have a daughter, Fiona, 14, and a son, Will, 10. During lockdown, John has been working 12-hour shifts as an essential worker. A few days ago, I got a message from one of the girls at Fiona's school's mother. She let me know about her daughter being bullied by Fiona and her group of friends and sent screenshots of what they've been doing to her. I was devastated, to say the least. I was bullied relentlessly as a teenager and Fiona and I are very close, so it just came as a huge surprise. I messaged the mum back apologizing, thanking her for telling me, and saying I'd speak to Fiona. This was not long after John had left for work, so I decided to tackle it immediately, rather than wait until when he got home. I called Fiona in, showed her the message and screenshots, and she went instantly on the defensive, complaining that they didn't want to be friends with her and that she was weird and deserved it. She kept shrugging it off, so I decided a different approach. I told Fiona about how the bullying I experienced when I was younger affected me. How it pushed me to some horrible places and to do some terrible things, and the depression I lived with for a very long time. After I'd finished talking, Fiona said to me whatever and stomped off, but then a couple of hours later she came back to me sobbing and apologizing. We talked some more. She let me know how she'd also been struggling with mental health and didn't know how to handle it. After a couple of hours, we had both cried a lot, but I let her know she was still going to be punished, which she understood and accepted. When my husband got home that night, I filled him in on everything that had happened, and he absolutely lost it at me out of nowhere. He couldn't believe that he shared that I had shared my struggles to Fiona and that I had tried to manipulate her by using my feelings into controlling her. He told me that I should have just punished her and told the school and let them handle it and that she was just a kid and didn't need to be guilt-tripped. He said that I had traumatized her. Before I could get a word in otherwise, he stomped out to the living room where he has been staying in for the past 3 days. Fiona and I have been really connecting since our talk, but John still is not speaking to me, except for in front of the kids. I genuinely don't feel like I did anything wrong. It's not like Fiona doesn't understand mental health. But John's reaction makes me feel like maybe I've been a huge idiot and I could have somehow damaged my daughter forever. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You showed her the repercussions those actions have on people later on in life, and it eventually hit her. You two then shared a special moment, she understood her actions and let you appropriately punish her, and you now have an open line of communication. She would have gotten similar messaging from everyone from guidance counselors to movies about bullying, but it's particularly impactful because it's someone close to her who experienced these things. You did a good thing. Not the idiot. Your reaction to this was perfect. Like, that's what one of those Hallmark Channel moms would do. Absolutely, heartwarmingly, I wish my mom were like you, kind of perfect. I don't know what your husband's problem is. I'm so confused by him. I wonder if he has another problem with the relationship that this somehow triggered. I haven't lived with an abusive mom, so I'm kin to an authority on emotional manipulation, and there's a huge difference between twisting the story to control someone's behavior and sharing your life experiences to help your child make better choices. Your daughter's reaction proves that it's exactly what she needed from you. Punishing is pointless if the child doesn't understand what they did wrong. If you punish her and she doesn't fully understand what the problem was, it's almost guaranteed she was gonna go back and do the same thing. It might not seem like a big deal to him, but I guess it wouldn't be since it's not his daughter being tormented. Also, I do agree that school need to do more, but you are her parents, it's not the school's job to parent your kids. So just punishing her and then saying let the school deal with it is lazy parenting. You're doing the best by taking care of this sooner rather than later. Pertinent background information. I, 22, am a stay-at-home wife. My husband, 37, makes more than enough so that I don't have to work, but I do contribute monetarily because I receive a disability check each month. Not nearly as much as he, but the point is I contribute through monetary means. I also contribute by keeping the household running smoothly, cooking, cleaning, paying the bills, doing the laundry, running errands, and so on. Our finances are joined, our checks both go into the same account. But as a courtesy, I always ask him before I spend money on myself for a splurge every once in a great while. My particular vice is computer games. I thoroughly enjoy them, however I never spend all day on them. Inciting incident. Recently, one of the games I've wanted went on sale for $30, which I thought was a steal, so I asked my husband if I could get. The gist of the conversation was him asking why I wanted it, me explaining the above, and him saying he didn't think it was a good enough reason. This kind of pissed me off. I say it's our money, if I want to get myself something I should be able to. He tells me, well, it's not like you contribute as much as I do monetarily. This reply floored me. I said, yup, you're right, I don't contribute in other meaningful ways at all. He starts to give me the silent treatment, which went on for days. In spite of my best efforts to speak with him about the situation, he wouldn't discuss it or budge. After day 4 of it, I decided to do the following. What happened next? After that conversation, I decided to teach him a lesson about just how valuable the things I do are to the running of our household. I stopped cleaning. Every time he would say something about it, I would say I don't contribute anything, remember. I stopped doing laundry, cooking, and even taking care of the finances. He loves taking naps in the chair. I'd drop something heavy, bare his chair, and wake him up from the loud noises. I felt if he was going to be passive aggressive, then so could I. End event. And why I may be more of the idiot. Finally, after doing this for the last week, he comes home and says, fine, you win, now will you start taking care of things again? I get up to walk to the fridge and pull out a bottle of ketchup, setting it in front of him. And I say, okay, now you can eat your words. In my defense, it was a joke, albeit maybe a little bit of a jab at him. It wasn't meant to be serious. Well, now he thinks I'm the bigger idiot here because all he did was say no and not talk to me. And what I did, all things mentioned above, were far worse than him being controlling with what I can and can't buy for entertainment purposes. I, on the other hand, feel he was being controlled, and I shouldn't have had to justify wanting something that would nowhere near break the bank lays I reasonably contribute to our funds. We are at a stalemate, so which one of us is the idiot here? Or do we both just are the idiots? He's financially and emotionally abusive and lacking other ways of being able to get your needs met. You're resorting in desperation to petty behavior. Your behavior is, technically, idiot behavior, but you're doing it because you found yourself in an untenable situation and you're trying to survive in it with the tools you have at your disposal. It's not uncommon for people in abusive situations to pick up some abusive behaviors of their own in response, because that winds up being the only way of communicating in the relationship that the other partner will register. There's a reason a guy so much older is with someone so young. He's able to control you more because you have less experience, and no one his age would put up with him. This is your life if you stay with him. Having to ask permission to spend any money, then being told no, and you still don't have the game, long drawn out fights over dumb crap he tries to control, and passive aggression. You're so young, get out and find a good partner for you. It is not his money. When you guys got married, you guys agreed to share everything. Half of his salary is yours. Half of your disability check is his. Half of the video game would be his. Half of that ketchup bottle you used to make the weird statement is yours. That is what it means to be married. That is what you both signed up for. I always get infuriated when in a divorce the main money earner says something like, and now they want half of my money. Screw that. There is no my money. My money doesn't exist. There is only the shared assets. There is only the couple's money. When you got married, you specifically signed a very powerful legal agreement, knowing full well that from that point on all of your assets would be combined and shared forever unless you divorce. My daughter is a handful, to say the very least. Not in a sense of being a bad kid or anything along those lines. She actually listens really well and is super respectful and overall, an extremely sweet and loving kid. However, she has a really bad habit of not wanting to do anything for herself. Like, to a point where she doesn't even want to pick out her own clothing, but will ridicule anything and everything I choose. Her father and I split up 4 years ago, and after 2 years, he basically stopped making any attempt to see her. She's taking this fairly okay, so she says, but I know for a fact that the damage is a lot more than she makes it out to be, especially being a daddy's girl. So, she only sees him maybe twice a year, and this is only when her grandmother, his mom, asks to have her for the weekend. He lives back at home with mommy, pays no rent, no child support and is unemployed, so he literally has no excuse to not see her. But when she is there, he doesn't hang out with her or anything. It's very traumatic for her. As her mother, I can see that. Now, I will begin to get her on track and have her start doing things for herself. She will be doing so fantastic. But then, like clockwork, her dad and grandmother swoop in and destroy it. They tell her, princesses don't need to do anything for themselves and do everything for her, including tying her shoes. So when she comes back home, all the progress is made a complete 180. So, her grandmother and dad had her for the first time this year about 2 weeks ago. When she came home all progress was lost, and she refused to do anything. She wouldn't tie her shoes, comb her hair, pick out her clothes, unpack her bag, nothing. So, I calmly told her that I would not be doing these things for her, and if she does not do them for herself, they will not be done. She freaked out. This is a first. She started screaming about how her daddy told her that I should be doing more for her and how I am neglectful of her needs. She really screamed this in my face. So, me in complete shock and pure irritation, said actually, you are going to do these for yourself, and to be completely honest with you, I don't care in the least what your father has told you. Who is raising you, Amber? Me or him? Do you want to be dependent on me for the rest of your life? And neglect? Are you flipping serious? Do you even know what that means? I did swear at her. I was heated. I later apologized, and I spoke to her dad who told me that what happened at his house wasn't my concern and that she's too perfect to do crap for herself. My mom, who was present for this, told me that I am an idiot for freaking out the way I did. I feel like an idiot, but at that time, I feel like something needed to be said. Not the idiot. This style of parental warfare has been waged on my siblings by their father and his family. Going so far as to brainwash my sister into thinking that the maternal side of her family is nothing but liars and bad people, including me. It was not pretty to unlearn that. Remind your daughter why she has to do things for herself. Princesses who can't do anything for themselves end up locked in a castle guarded by a dragon, alone. Princesses who can't make decisions won't become a good queen. Soft, you are the idiot. Not for refusing to do things for her, but for speaking to her the way you did. You and your ex need to have a serious conversation about this. He is not teaching her good values. But the conversation should only involve you, the ex, maybe his mom, but only the adults. Not her. Side note, could you try encouraging her in a different way? Like, say, real princesses are strong girls who know what they want and work hard to get it, or show her examples of positive female role models. I don't know, I'm not a parent, but it seems like maybe an idea. Not the idiot for wanting your child to learn to be responsible for herself. But you and the dad and the grandma need to sit down and have a discussion, not a yelling match. Sounds like you have a lot of issues with him still and him with you. And y'all taking it out on the child. Everyone is hurting here, and in turn, it hurts your child the most. And if she continues not to pick up her stuff, etc. Don't do it for her. Let it stay there. Let her not brush her teeth, or bath, or whatever. Don't ignore her, but she'll realize at some point you're not gonna make her not smelly anymore, etc. Still make meals and make sure she's getting to school and offer help. But don't do it for her.